Welcome back to the Early Retirement Podcast. I want all of you to know the earliest time you can retire. Doesn't mean you actually need to retire. In fact, most people think when I say, hey, you're in a position to retire, that people just do. That doesn't happen that often. Most of the time people go, wow, that's great to know. I'm going to keep working another year for my team so I don't just leave them high and dry. Or I've got this project, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet in retirement, but it's really nice going to work knowing I don't actually have to be here. If I have a bad day, if politics change, I have the ability to do what I want to do, which is spend my time on whatever it is I want to do. And that's once again where I want all of you to live. I don't want you in that I don't know phase. Many of you have heard this before, but I'm a soccer player and my wife says I'm worse than hangry when I'm injured. If you don't know hangry, that's hungry and angry, a very dangerous combination. And she used to think right when I get my MRI, I'm going to be even worse than that. Why? Because I'm going to see the severity of my injury. But the truth is I relax, and I relax even if the injury is bad because now I know the truth. I have a plan. Got it. I might have to do 6 months of physical therapy or a year to get back on the field, but I know what I need to do in order to, once again, play soccer, which is the goal in this case. I want all of you to know, wow, what if markets went down right when I retired? Or what if tax brackets change? Or what if my health changes? Or what if I live longer? Or what if? Wow, I still see that I would be in a position if I were to make the following changes. Great. I still want to retire. So if you're wondering, okay, what do I need to know before I retire? Once again, guys, you can email me the word retire in the subject line, and I will respond back with a free guide. It's a checklist to make sure you don't forget anything. If you want to build your own plan, just make sure to put in the subject line the word optimize, and then I'll send you the software that I use to build financial plans. And then finally, we love to help people retire early. So you can go to our website, rootfinancial.com, and that's when people are like, wow, I need to be financially educated on all retirement topics, but I don't want to actually be the one in charge of implementing it because I want to be enjoying my retirement. And it's our job to make sure we're helping you get the most true value out of what you've worked so hard for. So many people just keep working until 60, 65, thinking, you know what, that's what I got to do. That's what my parents did. But that's not the reality. The reality is there's so many of you who listen to this podcast who go, wow, maybe I could retire earlier, but don't take action on it. And we want to show you, hey, here's when it could be possible. And we're not just going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to blow smoke. We're going to show, hey, here's the reality based on your situation, how much you could spend. Here's what's reasonable. So it might surprise you, but it also might be a little bit of tough love. And we believe in being transparent. So hopefully the podcast resonates. I do all of this for you guys for free, and I love getting to do it. So thank you in advance for letting me record these episodes, or else it just feels like I'm talking to outer space. So appreciate you guys emailing me for these free guides. That's a long intro. Let's get to the episode.
But here's something I wanted to bring up to you that I don't know if I heard it on your site or a different site. I'm thinking like this last year, taking off a week a month. I know I've got, there's an electrician that lives here near me that his license plate reads 3-day weekend. So I know that, he did that for a while before he retired. But I'm thinking, take a week off and unwind, relax, try and get more, a little more healthy. And if the customers don't like it, too bad. I'm at the point now where I'm just fed up with people, up with people that waste my time, that have no respect for it. So if you have to wait an extra week because I need to unwind and get back in shape or whatever, then so be it.
This series, Road to Retirement, is designed to hear from people like you. You're going to hear from real people who want to retire early, and they're sharing what's worked well for them so far. How close are they? Some people you're going to listen to are a month out. Other people are 10 years out. So there's a wide range of people, and all of these different people are going to help you retire early from them kindly sharing their story. Now, if you haven't seen it already, I have another series here called Retirement Reality, where people who have already retired will share, here's what worked, here's what's actually been more difficult than I thought, and so much more. Today's episode is a road to retirement. So if you're on your way to retirement, this episode might resonate even more. Enjoy. My guest on the Road to Retirement show is a business owner who says he's tired. He is ready to go. He has a son and an office manager that runs the business. He experienced having employees, went, yep, that's not for me. It's not worth the hassle. I don't want to have to rely on people who I feel might not do the job to the degree that I want to see it being done. And I want to retire at 60. Now, him and his wife have very different goals for retirement, which he shares in great depth. But ultimately, his advice, I think, is very powerful, which is run those numbers, make sure those are in line, and prioritize yourself, which is hard to do. He goes on to talk, and you'll see and maybe laugh when I guess how much I thought his camper you're going to see what I mean by that in just a moment, is going to cost because I could not have been more far off. So when I ask the question if I can guess how much his RV is, I invite you to think about what that number is because I bet it's going to surprise you. Now, this show is very different from my other show, Retirement Reality. That's where I'm speaking to people who are already retired and they're sharing, and you can see there's a glow behind them. Their shoulders are down. They're just so relieved and excited to be in retirement. But some of them are very honest and they go, look, I wish I did retire a few years later because I really financially would have benefited from it. Other people have shared, I don't know why it took me so long. I would have retired at 50 if I knew what I knew now. So every experience is different. This new show is designed to highlight people like you who maybe haven't retired yet, but you're close. Maybe you're 5 years out from retirement. Maybe you're longer. Maybe it's 15, 20 years out, but you're wanting to hear from other people. And what's cool about this episode is our guest today shared, he's not a W-2 earner in the traditional sense. He didn't actually start saving aggressively until his 40s, and he's going to retire hopefully before 60. So this is a fun episode. If you do want to be on this show because you want to share with others who you think might benefit from it, please do apply in the show notes. You'll be able to see in the description, here on YouTube, you'll be able to see a link where you can apply to do just that. Regardless, I'll reach out and thank you for applying to come on the show because I don't take it lightly that you're willing to share and help other people. You don't get any financial benefit from it. I don't send you a paycheck. I don't get a paycheck from you. All I want is to help people understand what they need to do to retire early. And I think these conversations help explore that. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy today's guest, Shawn. Shawn, thank you for joining an episode of Road to Retirement. This is fun for me because I get to talk to people who are on their way to retirement, and you are transparent in your form with me going, hey, I'm looking forward to peace of mind. I've got a few different businesses and things going on. So I ask all my guests the same question first, which is, what are you most excited to spend your time doing once you retire?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. So what kind of relaxing? We talking travel? We're talking just phone off the grid?
Going tomorrow to pick up another RV, trading in my first one, going to pick up a much nicer one to get into the traveling a lot more with the RV.
Love it. One of the segments I'll do on the show is I'll call it Guess the RV. Now, the truth is I have no idea and I'm not an expert, but if I were to guess, would you tell me?
Sure.
Okay, let's say 85,000.
No, that's a camper. That's not
Okay.
an RV.
Okay. So it shows what I know right there. So do you mind sharing? And the reason I ask is a lot of people want to buy an RV right when they retire, but they're wondering, okay, how much do I really need? How much is the one that you're about to get, the one you're trading in for?
6 figures.
Okay. And is that like, wow, you're really balling, it's the dream retirement, or even that is like, hey, it's good, but I wish I could have this other one?
This is low 6 figures. The first one I had was even lower 6 figures. The baller is high 6 figures, shy of $1 million.
Okay.
If you really want to get into, the retirement one that you drive down south every year and stay there for 3-4 months. And I'm not at that stage and don't know if I'll ever get to be there, but
Yeah, well, we'll talk about some of that fun stuff today. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, you shared on the forum, hey, I'm thinking maybe I'm a year and a half away from retirement. Why that time frame?
58 years old, and I kind of just picked the number 60. Been working since I was 14. First job was a lifeguard, my local beach that we were members of, and been working ever since. Basically, right now, I'm tired.
Wow, 46 years is a long time. Now, what's stopping you from retiring tomorrow? Is it financial? Is it the business?
I've got 2 small businesses, and by small, I mean me and my son and an office manager. And they're really niche businesses. And my son's probably going to take the one over. That's the plan. And the other one I'm going to need to sell. So it's a matter of getting to the point where I want to sell the other one.
Now, I know selling sometimes is, hey, who do I want to sell it to? Then there's the financial side of, okay, it could go to this person and the business would run a certain way, but that's maybe not exactly how I envisioned it. Are these businesses more of, look, they're babies, I want to make sure they go to the right person? Is it a combination of, yes, I want it to go to the right person, but financially, I also want to make sure it's very profitable? How do you view that?
If you got a blank check, I'll sell you the business.
Okay, understood. So, yeah, I'll see what we can do at Root, depending on the business.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, I would love to hear about why you decided to enter this field as being a business owner? Because I've had multiple people on the show who go, yep, business owner sounded sexy and fun to me. Didn't realize I would really never not get to work. And then there's other people that go, look, it's what I want to do anyway, so I love it. What's your relationship being a business owner?
Well, way back when I was working for my then father-in-law, I read one of the trade magazines in the business that he's in, and it talked about a much larger operation on the East Coast that only lets their family members come in after they've done something out in the real world. Okay, you don't just graduate college and come into the business and start taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Lawyer, doctor, whatever it is. Kind of gave me the entrepreneur bug. Um, I left that business figuring it'd be a few years. The business I bought is an invisible fence dealership. I had been a customer at the time. The current owner wanted to sell. Again, I'm looking to get out from there, and figured it'd be a nice little transition. I can start doing what I want to do. And, you know, young, silly, and stupid, I'll be out golfing every Wednesday, and I'll just do what I want to do. Well,
Yeah.
32 years later, I'm still doing it. And you don't get to go golfing every Wednesday. Okay. Um, Years into that, I tried to sell it once or twice. That didn't work. A deal fall through on me. But at that point, I also bought into another product, a fire retardant product, that really interested me because I've been a volunteer firefighter since I was 14. And this other business floundered, sat there for years until 2011, when I was able to help code get passed here in Pennsylvania, that my product would be used on new residential homes. So that took off, and I'm at the point now where I'm just tired.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for being a volunteer firefighter because so I grew up originally in Malibu and there's been some wildfires going around here, and the amount of support that comes from volunteers is incredible. Now, on top of being a business owner, not only are you doing volunteer firefighting, is there anything else you're doing?
Not right now. I've really cut back the last couple of years. I was really involved with the Builders Association in Pennsylvania, on the local and state level. Um, Used to do a lot more work with my fraternity back in the day. But the last few years, I've just cut back on a lot of that stuff just so I can start planning and looking forward more to retirement. And, you know, I've always taken vacations around business trips,
Hmm.
because you go somewhere for a couple of days for a seminar, whatever it is, stay for an extra couple of days, make it into a little vacation. And I just want to go out and just do vacations now. And I've done that for the last year.
I hear that all the time, and I love that you just mentioned that. Let's talk a little bit about those vacations. As you know, let's pretend you were retired tomorrow, business is sold, son's now running the other business, and you're good. Are you going for a week? Are you going for 3 months? What do those trips look like?
That's hard to say. With the new RV, and if I get my wife to retire as well,
Hmm.
um, then we're looking probably at a month at a time to really get out and see the country. Maybe longer over the summers. Um, right now, it's 4 or 5, maybe 6 days that I try and squeeze out over a long weekend, and just go where we can go, that where I can drive in 300 miles a day, and for a couple of days, and go with that.
Are you truly turned off on those days, or are you still checking the phone and making sure
Oh,
things are running?
I'm never turned off. You kidding
Okay.
me? Laptop
Do,
goes with me, the phone goes with me, and we'll be driving down the road and the phone will ring from a builder who needs a job done or something, and you know,
do you recall, and I'm not bringing this up just to bring tough conversation, I think this is very real and relates to a lot of people. Do you recall the last time you've turned off? Was it 13 years old?
no, if I gone to trips like in the Caribbean or something like that, then yeah, that gets turned off because I don't want to be bothered then. I'm trying to think, the last couple of vacations we had, I really haven't had many calls, thank God, but um, yeah, just it just never gets turned off because that's just not my personality.
Yeah,
You
me either, by the way,
know?
which has created other issues, but I hear you.
Well, as a newlywed, you're in trouble then.
Yeah, you're aware. Look, guys, I'm 3 months veteran. Okay. So, yeah, and I love what I do. But look, if there's a day where that changes, I want to have the freedom to do what I want to do, which is the whole purpose of why I do what I do today is I want everyone to know when it's work optional. So if you knew you did not have to keep working, you could still work. Maybe you do another project. Maybe you volunteer more, but it's more of what Shawn wants to do. And it's hard to be selfish sometimes. I want to know about your wife, though. You mentioned her retirement. Is she in a completely different field of work?
She's a pharmacist at a hospital.
Enjoys it?
She's a pharmacist at a hospital.
Okay, you said it right there. Now, is she thinking retiring same time based off benefits? How is she looking at it?
Yeah, we've got some stuff coming up in the next year. We've got a second grandchild coming in March and a wedding in October. So she won't be retiring this year.
Mm. Let's talk, if you don't mind, a little bit about this theme that's come up in recent episodes, which is joy and security. And if you were to talk to younger self, or you can even answer for your wife if you think you know what she might say, you mentioned, yep, she's a pharmacist at a hospital. Was that the dream? Was it, hey, from an early age, we were taught from our parents, get a job that pays you and you can figure out purpose and what you really want to do later in life? That theme of joy and security, I tell through a story of my dad often. So to give you some time to think about the answer, my dad loved surfing and he grew up and he watched the movie Endless Summer. Have you ever seen that movie by chance?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so it's like a fun surf movie, lighthearted. And my dad's dad, so my grandpa, was a CPA. And my dad saw Endless Summer and saw my grandpa's life, and he just thought for no good reason they paid the same. You could be a CPA or a surfer. And he thought they both, for some reason, made the same money. So he said, I'm going to be a surfer. Like, why would I be a CPA when I could do this? And then he realized, wow, that's not real life. But his whole point of life was not, I want to have security and I want to have a family and I want to have kids. And I'm lucky that he had me. But his whole life was built by, I want to live a life where I could go surfing if I want to. So he chose to be a business owner because if waves were up, he was leaving to surf. And that's really what shaped his life. Now, my mom was the exact opposite. It was times were tougher. I want to grow up and have money and not have to worry and work till I'm 80. What was the approach that you took?
Boy, that's hard to say. I can remember as a kid, both my grandfathers were coal miners here in Pennsylvania. I can remember my grandfather who lived with us telling me, get a desk job. Don't beat yourself up out in the field. Get a desk job, do that kind of thing. I can never see myself doing that. I'm not that kind of person. I've done physical jobs my entire life, and physical sports and working out and exercise and all that stuff my entire life. I enjoy numbers. Actually, when I first bought my first business, had no business skills at all. I got a history degree, political science minor, so I had no business classes at all. Went back to school at night, got my MBA, and I do enjoy running numbers when it comes to P&Ls and stuff like that. So I'm the treasurer of my fire department. I enjoy running all these different things like that, but I can't do it more than a couple hours. I can't sit at a desk all day. It's just not me. I've got to be out doing something. So that's got me to the point now where, not much works anymore. Every joint hurts and,
Yeah, we're going
you'll
to
have
talk about
that.
health, but I appreciate you sharing that. What do you think your wife would say? And I imagine she's thinking, maybe this isn't my dream job, so to speak, but it is secure and it's what I studied, so I'm going to do it. Do you think she would have changed anything if she could go back 30 years?
She told me, um, when I guess when she first got out of high school or whatever, she wanted to be a hairdresser. And somehow I ended up going to school for pharmacy. I
Hmm.
don't get the connection or what happened there, but that's what happened. And 30, how long has she been doing it? 35, 36 years, something like that. She's been working at hospitals.
Do you
So
think that, and I hope not, but I hope you end up making the call you want. When it comes to retirement, there's a lot of people who do the one more year of, yeah, the business is just not ready to sell yet. I don't really think it's the right time. Or your wife goes, if I work just 2 more years, the benefits get way better. And yeah, I know you want to travel, Shawn, but the truth is, look at these benefits. Do you think you guys might fall subject to that one more year, or do you feel you've got it pretty dialed in?
I believe I have it pretty dialed in Um, like I said, she wants to work the one more year because of the baby and the wedding to pay for. Um, but here's something I wanted to bring up to you that I don't know if I heard it on your site or a different site, or if it
Please.
just popped into my head. I'm thinking like this last year, taking off a week a month. You know, I know I've got there's an electrician that lives here near me that his license plate reads 3-day weekend. So I know that he did that for a while before he retired. But I'm thinking, take a week off and unwind, relax, try and get more, a little more healthy. And if the customers don't like it, too bad.
Yeah,
You know,
I love
I'm at
it.
that.
And
I'm at the point now where I'm just fed up with people, fed up
yep,
with people that waste my time, that have no respect for it. You know, um, so if you have to wait an extra week because I need to unwind and get back in shape or whatever, then so be it.
100%. And yes, that was me. And I'm very transparent about that. I even go further and say, I think you're training for something you don't know you're training for. And I've had people go, I don't know what you mean. And what I mean is, it's more fun to train for a marathon. You know, it's coming up. Now, I've never run a marathon. I'm never going to run a marathon. I have no desire. But I play soccer and I don't go to the gym going, wow, this is going to be just a blast. And people will say, I have friends that go, you're so disciplined. I go, I'm not disciplined. I want to play soccer. It's fun for me. So I do this gym thing so I can play soccer. My clients and viewers, you guys are doing the same thing. It's time to train for retirement. If you're driving all day, 300 miles a day, you've got to be sitting there in comfort or you are not going to be happy. So I would say, can you take off a week? Yes. But can you also go, you know what? Instead of having a 24-hour rule, which maybe as a business owner you live by because you want to provide good service because you're a good person, maybe that becomes a 72-hour rule. And if people don't like it, well, guess what? They're not going to be someone you're thinking about when you're in retirement 2 years from now and you're sitting there feeling good. So, what can you do to start training for retirement? That's my vote.
Well, you talk about people retiring to something,
Hmm.
okay, um, or being bored. Well, there's your chance to take a week and see if you're going to be bored.
Yeah.
You know, like some of your other guests, I want to do a lot more fishing. I fished every day when I was a kid because we had a cabin out near a lake. I fished every day, every morning before we went to the beach. And I want to get back and do a lot more fishing.
Nice.
Taught myself how to weld off of YouTube a couple of years ago. I want
No
to
way.
do a lot more welding and that kind of stuff. Um, so do that for a week, instead of worrying about paying the bills or anything else like that, and get used to getting into that retirement mode so that you're not bored. So that especially not if you and your wife are in the same house all day, so you're not killing
Yeah.
each other. I got a bunch of friends that retired that the wife said, "Go out and get a part-time job. You ain't staying here all day."
Oh yeah, I've heard that many times. Hey, I love you, not this much. Now I have heard a lot of you guys will tell me, and I like that you're bringing this up, Shawn. I'm worried about being bored. I don't think it's something you should worry about. Now I know a lot of you, I can already hear it. You're going, well, I might not have the luxury Shawn has of just taking a week off. If it's a day off, if it's taking an extra Monday, what can you do to practice retirement so that when you get there, you go, wow. First of all, it does a few things. Number one, it makes it way easier to save money because you're like, yep, I'm saving and I'm more motivated to pay off that principal of the mortgage or save to that 401k because I see that's more time fishing. Or you're able to go, you know what? By me doing this, turns out maybe Shawn, I don't think this will be the case. Maybe you're like, look, fishing wasn't the same. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, and I know nothing about fishing, what if it just isn't giving you the feeling it used to? You're still going to want to retire, but now maybe you're going to prioritize some other things. Now, what I've never seen is two spouses that like the same exact things. And I'll have people come to me and go, what do I do? My retirement vision is very different from my spouse. And I've had people potentially talk about while I'm live with them going, maybe we're just not a good match. I go, I don't think it's that. I think you worked together for 30 or 40 years for a reason. It's just now you have different goals. Maybe Shawn's taking a trip and wife is deciding not to go on that trip and you're doing something else. But that will cause some issues naturally if they're not discussed. Is that something that you discuss with your wife or how do you guys talk about that?
Oh, she'd love for me to take the dog and get in the RV and go.
Yeah.
Just leave her alone.
Yeah.
Now I've told her because she's not into the studying the YouTube videos and stuff like that I am about retirement or whatever.
Hmm.
I told her she has to have something to look forward to, that she just can't sit around and watch Columbo all day.
Yeah.
Um, she loves to bake, you know, and I told her, well, then maybe you can do more baking, and certainly you can do that in the RV as well. Um, Things like that. So yeah, you've got to talk about it. You've got to get used to going somewhere. Like we're
Well, kudos.
going to pick up this new RV tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to be spending the weekend at the campground with the dog because she's going wedding dress shopping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, kudos to you guys for having those conversations. And you're a great example of, yeah, different goals, still love each other and have a great life. Now, does she watch, and if not, ignore this question. Do you know if she watches something called Great British Bake Off?
no, more just Columbo and Murder, Murder, Kill, Kill. I figured,
Okay.
she's trying to figure out a way to sneak it into me.
It's crazy how many shows out there right now are murder. I'm like, what is this country doing? But regardless, I'm curious because you brought up the financial side, and I always like discussing it. Naturally, there's one person who takes more of an interest, but let's just assume for whatever reason you are not here, which hopefully you're here a very long time. Is she going, you know what? I'm going to start to figure this stuff out. Is she going, no, 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 that's just not my thing. Finances have been Shawn's thing. Like, how would she approach retirement?
You're going to get me in trouble now. No, the money aspect really isn't her angle. I'm obviously more into it being a business owner and running P&Ls and things like that. But I don't know how she'd do it if I wasn't around.
Yeah. My wife's the same, by the way.
Had the scare, had the 80% blockage on the Widowmaker.
Yeah, yeah. Look, my wife, if I said Roth conversion, she will fall asleep. Like that is her
Oh,
trigger
yeah.
word. So I get it. But those conversations obviously are important to have. And it's one of those things that you can't quantify exactly, but there's a peace of mind knowing if there wasn't, now maybe it's your son, whoever it may be. But I do recommend having those conversations. Now, in terms of the financial side, obviously you're savvy to the point where you like these things. And, running P&L statements isn't something that most people go, that's at top of my list. My wife was a history major as well, so that tells me you're very intelligent. You like looking at the YouTube videos and studying these things. I'm curious when, and it's okay if you don't want to share the exact number, but when did you first realize that maybe I should have a superhero account, which is what I call a brokerage account, by the way, because of all the different benefits that comes with it? Is that something that, yep, my dad told me about that early age. As soon as I heard about that in a 401k, I got on it. Was it I started in my 30s because that's when finances really were allowing me to save money? What was your process to save for retirement?
It probably wasn't really till this other business took off. Um, Both of us had previous marriages that cost a lot. The only people that make out there are the lawyers. So after the other business took off, that it really became a cash cow because there's no overhead, there's no advertising. It's all word of mouth that I've built up, and I was able to put a lot aside.
And what age was
And
that approximately?
so was that 14 years ago,
Wow.
15 years ago?
So really not till your, 40s where you started to save aggressively.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't broke. I mean, I still had the toys. Still
Yeah.
got the Harleys. I had a fishing boat, sold that. I wasn't living high on the hog. I certainly wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. But it wasn't until then that I really started getting a lot more serious about putting money away because I finally had some coming in that I could do that with.
Right. And for all those out there who are going, well, I can't retire early because, I didn't start saving until my 30s. Here's a great example of someone who is actually on track to retire by 60, potentially even sooner, who still lived his life and had the toys. And I'm happy to hear that because I'll see a lot of people that will make the mistake of saving so much that they don't buy toys or enjoy their life at all. Retire and go, now I don't know what I want to do because they never really realized what they love doing because they were working so much. And then there's the flip side of people who spend so much that they're nowhere on track to retire and they're going, why me? And the why me is, well, you didn't do the hard work to save for future you. Now,
Right.
one thing I'll see a lot of people do is they'll push back retirement because it turns out that one toy they want is just so luxurious. It's what they want. And I'll be the first person to go, great, I want you to get it. But we got to understand these trade-offs. Were you thinking there's one RV I really want? I'm not retiring until I have enough to get that. And if that means I'm working more, so be it. Or are you more so, hey, look, maybe it's not the dream one, but it's going to be a good RV where I'm still going to enjoy?
Yeah, I'm not going to be that lady with the extra $1 million.
Okay.
And if she wants to give it to me, she can give it to me.
Yeah.
I'll take it off her hands for her.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not working the extra year for a toy. No way.
Good. Yeah.
I just believe I've worked long enough and hard enough that I want to be able to do those the trips and everything else like that. The dream RV, I don't know if I'd ever get it. I mean, I don't know how long I'd have to work or get into some other business to do that as well.
Right.
And realistically, what we're getting is way more than most people. You know,
Hmm.
um, and I understand that, and I understand that looking at some of these other RVs or whatever it is, whatever toy it is, it's a toy. You know, do I really need it? No. Do I want it? Yeah. Have I worked my butt off for it? Yeah, I have, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to, let anybody take that away from me.
I like your mindset. And the happiest people in retirement don't have the most. They make the most of what they've got, and you've got a good head on your shoulders. Now, one of the things that causes a lot of people to not retire early, and you probably can guess it, is healthcare. What is your plan to approach healthcare until Medicare?
Well, my wife's a couple years older than me, so she should be able to get into that the next 2 years, I think. Myself, probably still be part of the buyout deal with my son.
Mm. Okay, so interesting situation where we can stay on there, be involved in some capacity.
Hmm.
Was that something that worried you, just healthcare as a whole? Was that like a potential stop, or did that not even cross your mind when it came to retirement timing?
It really didn't cross my mind. It's just going to be another expense. Like my dad, my mom's 86, my dad's 85, and I can remember 20 years ago or better, whatever, when he probably should have retired. He's taking part-time jobs to help pay for the health insurance,
Hmm.
before he can get on the Medicare. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
I need to be able to get out now while I can still move around.
yeah. Well, kudos to you once again because it's hard to make that call. And I'll see a lot of people who just keep working because, I mean, maybe it's not easier in your case because you're tired, you're ready to go. But there's lots of people who find it actually easier to work because this unknown is too scary. Not the case here. Now, I would love to hear a little bit about just general spending on a monthly basis. How much do you find, like keep toys separate, keep a big trip or a wedding or a remodel separate, but how much every month do you anticipate you're going to be spending in retirement?
That's going to depend on how well the other business gets sold.
Mm. How
Because
much
if I
would
get
you
paid,
love to spend? Let me say that.
how much would I love to spend?
Yeah. Love to spend, not toys though. This is just every month, Shawn, here's 10,000 a month. Do you hear 10 a month and go, "Oh, I don't know how I'd spend that." Or you go, "Oh, no, I could double that easily."
I really surprised myself when I sat down and started doing
How so?
the budget work for my accountant who's CFP as well, who's doing my planning and stuff.
Cool.
And when we started doing the actual expenses and everything and laying out the budgets and whatnot, I was like, wow, I do spend that much a month. I can't believe that. I'm like, where the hell's it going? What do I have to show for it? You know, Grammys, you go to the grocery store and you look at the bill. I'm like, it's me and my wife. What's a family of four doing right now? How are they affording all this? But I think 10 is on the high side,
Wow.
realistically,
Yeah.
because I don't. We go out once a week, twice a week. It's not like we're out every night eating out at dinner, and um, I don't buy the high end clothes or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Um, I'd rather buy a high end fishing rod than some high
Yeah.
end clothes or something. So,
I'm the same way by the look, I have 10 pairs of soccer cleats because when the cleats come out that I want to make sure if that model goes away, I've got them and I'm happy to do that and not buy wine. So that's my thing. In terms of
well, I got to buy
life,
gin. Sorry,
say that one more time.
I got to buy gin.
Yeah, well, look, hey, we've all got our things we need. In terms of spending, so let's just say, hey, here's 8,000 a month, 96,000 a year. That's excluding taking, additional trips or what have you. That's just the basics. Now, pretend I were to say you have to spend double that, but it can't go to, fishing rods or travel, but it must be spent just on sometimes it could be what are examples I've shared in the past? It could go to a charity. It could go to children. It could go to just additional groceries. Would you find that would increase quality of life, Or would you find, look, if I had more money to spend, but it really was only going to charities or children, it's, hey, that's really not a priority for me. Like my kids have time to save and make their own money, or charitable giving is something that maybe I want to do at the end of my life. Is this something, and it's not a great question now that I'm saying it out loud, but I'm curious, because certain people will tell me if you gave me more than that, it would just get saved. Like we're spending what we want to spend. Other people say no, if you really doubled that, life would look very different. So how would life look like if I were to double that number?
Well, if you're restricting toys,
Yeah,
then what else are you going to spend it on? I mean, how many pairs of shoes does she need in the closet? You know,
right.
I mean, how many pairs of clothes or sets of clothes or whatever can you wear?
Hmm.
You know, yeah, I'd set up some accounts for my kids and the grandkids.
Hmm.
Okay. I try and make meals that are as healthy as we can right now. You know, could I do that a little better, buying some better cuts of meat or something like that? I mean,
Hmm.
but when it gets to a point, how much more do you have, and what can you do with that if you're not buying, like I said, toys or non-necessities?
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to buy a better quality toilet paper. What the heck, you know?
Right. No, no, two ply is fine. And I bring it
You buy
up.
two ply, must be nice.
Oh, two ply, that's on holidays. The Jewish digestive system needs it, not to give you that visual. But I want to bring it up because it's something that a lot of people will go, 8,000 a month. Yeah, that's what I'm planning for. But the truth is, what if I get it wrong? Oh, maybe I need 15 a month or 20 a month. And the truth is, you have to do the exercise that you did, which is sitting down and going, wow, maybe it's more than I thought, but it's less than I thought you were going to say. I thought, Shawn, you were going to say, yeah, we need 15 a month or something. So it's all relative. And if I were to give you more money, but say it can't go to toys, you're going, well, what good does that do to my life? Nothing really changes. So the point of me bringing it up is I don't want to see you working longer than necessary. Now, your situation is different. You're a business owner. It's going to come down to, is that business going to sell? Is it a valuation that's attractive to you? There's more that goes into it. But no matter if you're a W-2 earner or you're a business owner, there becomes a point where having more really doesn't change life in a big way. And that trade-off of do I work longer or do I, decide I'm going to prioritize me is not something that's always easy. But this is one of the things I love about math. So I'm not obsessed with Roth conversions or healthcare subsidies. I'm obsessed with you knowing the earliest time you can walk away. And if you love what you do, great, keep doing it. If you don't, you're just working more and adding more anxiety. So what I hope you can do, Shawn, is get real clarity, and it sounds like you're pretty much there to understand, you said a year and a half, 60. Why 60? If the right valuation came in next month, do you feel that you could walk away? So just a question for you. You mentioned 60. I'll see people who will say January, 2020, my dog's name is 2020. That's when I'm going to do it. And I'll say, look, if you want to do it because that's when the stars align or there's a purpose that you're worried to go to, that's one thing. But if you're just picking something just because it's an arbitrary number, last thing I want to see, which unfortunately I see more often than you'd imagine, is a healthcare event occurs or something that really doesn't allow you to enjoy what you've worked so hard for, which is why I get emotional in these cases. So once again, is 60 something that you're thinking just works out timing wise? Pretend an offer came in tomorrow. How would that change things?
Oh, I'd sign the paperwork and walk away.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, you talk about, working longer or whatever. And I've got a lot of clients myself that have got some good businesses, some really big businesses, and make a boatload of money. Okay. I mean, more money than I can imagine. Okay. But at what cost? Okay. And how do they get to that point? The one thing you didn't ask me, or maybe I didn't say enough, is that I don't have any employees other than my son and my office manager. And that's why I'm at the level that I'm at. Could I
Mm.
grow the business more? Yeah. Could I continue to own the business into semi-retirement and get employees? Yeah, I could do that. But guess what? I hate having employees. Okay. Had them in the past, did nothing but babysit, and, just was even more stressed than a regular business, just business part of the day, you
You're
know?
right. I have not asked you, and there's a phrase that I've brought up. You may have heard it in a video, but I think you're going to love it if you haven't heard it yet. And it's on my list, and you're already ahead of me, which is why I like you. History majors. I have a thing with my wife, and now you. Um, have you heard of my phrase ROH?
No.
So ROI, return on investment, is very different from ROH, return on hassle. Is it worth the hassle? And you just brought up a great point, which is, look, could you grow it? Of course. And now you're managing hassle. And I'll bring this example in a lot with rental properties because I have clients that love rental properties. And I go, great, I love them too, if they make sense for your plan. But what if you're now traveling and you're worrying about, oh, yep, roof just leaked. So now you got to call the property manager. Oh, they're actually off because they're on vacation. So now all of a sudden you're not really retired. You're now running a different business. So I like that you actually are looking at it and deciding what you want to do, which is I've got myself, office manager, and my son. Great. Now, you might find that's where you're at in your stage of life and that works best. I'm curious because I think there's other business owners who are going to watch this and go, I feel just like Shawn, and I wish I could ask Shawn what I should have done earlier. If we went back 10 years, 15, 20 years, do you wish you never hired employees? Do you think you never would have had the perspective you had today unless you have done that? What would you tell other business owners?
It's certainly something you have to go through. There are other people out there that love their employees and love having employees. Okay, my mindset that I learned a long time ago, getting in when I first got into the business from some other colleagues, was you got to put as much money in the bank as you can today, because once today's gone, it's gone. Okay, Bob doesn't show up this morning. Well, that means I got to go jump in the truck. So whatever I had planned for the day is now out the window. Okay, because I got to get out there and do his work, because that's what's putting the money in the bank today. And I just got so fed up with that. I got so fed up with just sitting there waiting. Are they going to show up this morning? Are they going to even bother calling to say they're not showing up? And when you're talking small business like that, whether it's, a landscaping crew or whatever, somebody's got to pick up the slack. And it's not, to me, it wasn't worth the headache. To me, being the physical kind of guy that I am, I just finally got to a point where I said, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to keep all the money, and I'm going to just stack it away, and I'm going to quit when I want to quit, and other people don't want to do that. They want to have employees because they want to go golfing on Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you built the life
Call
that,
back.
yeah, you built the life that made sense for you, and that's what's important. Now, Shawn, I don't think you're alone in saying a lot of what you've shared today, which is, yes, I am tired. Yes, I do want to go fish. I cannot wait to have time to just do what I want to do and be off for more than a week because I've been working since I'm 14, and I'm excited and appreciate you coming on because a lot of the other episodes I record are, you can tell, very different. People retired, I'm loving life. So I'm excited. And if you're willing, I'd like to do a follow-up interview with you in a few years to be able to go, okay, what's changed? You might go, look, I can't believe I waited this long. I wish I had done this. You might go, you know what? That sense of purpose and fulfillment, it's missing a little bit. We'll be surprised to see what you say. But if all of you out there resonated with what Shawn shared today and you feel similar, yep, I'm tired. I just want to call it quits. I feel like I've done my part. Now it's time for me to enjoy me. Let Shawn know in the comments if you enjoyed this because we do this all for you. Shawn, you just took an hour out of your day to talk to some guy you just saw do some YouTube videos. So I appreciate you doing that once again. I end these shows the same way, which is by shutting the heck up myself and letting you talk to someone. You've already done this a little bit, but someone who's 5 years out from retirement. And this can be anyone. It can be a friend you're thinking of. It can be really anyone that you think might resonate with someone who has the experience that you've had over these amount of years. And 5 years they're away from retirement and they know it, meaning 5 years they are retiring, but they're worried. They're worried about health. They're worried about identity. They're worried about what their spouse is going to think, finances. You can tell them anything that comes to your mind for the next minute. So I'm going to shut the heck up and give you the floor here.
I'd say study, educate yourself, get your numbers in line. All right. Once you realize that the numbers are in line and you believe that you can live with those numbers, then you pull the trigger. All right. Don't be your client with the extra $1 million, that lady with the sciatica. Now I got sciatica too, but I'm still going hiking and I'm still going to go fishing. Okay. And I'll get out and get in the RV and get on the road as soon as I can.
Love it. Great advice, Shawn. Once again, appreciate you coming on and sharing all of this and hope to do a follow-up with you in a few years and that we can see some photos of that RV and you fishing.
Great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Shawn.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you all, as always, for listening to the Early Retirement Podcast. I love getting to host these shows and make different content for you guys every single week. I've not missed a single week in years, and that is because I love getting to do this. Now, please be smart about this before you actually execute any strategy that you see me talk about, or hear me talk about, should I say. Please talk to your financial advisor, your tax preparer, your estate attorney. Please be smart about this. None of this should be construed as financial advice. This is for fun, educational, informational purposes only. Once again, just quick disclaimer here, guys, please be smart about this. Appreciate you listening as always. And you can, of course, submit a question on my website, earlyretirementpodcast.com. If you, of course, want me to address a specific case study or topic, I will not promise I can get to it, but I respond to every single person. And if I find it will be helpful for a lot of people, I will absolutely make an episode on it. At the very least, give you some insight. That's it. Thanks, guys.